Okay. When I don't
Ma'am, you're not audible, ma'am.
Is it clear now?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. Yes.
Okay. Because I could get a delayed response. Okay. Yes. So do I can get any clarity on that? Like what was your question? What was the concern? Any clue? Okay, leave it. So last week, whatever the theories we discussed about learning is all the theories are clear for everyone. 21 participants are there.
Madam, all
Need
these theories, can I say something? There are a lot of criticism on the techniques of behavior. You know, those techniques are there. Like yesterday, last time you taught us Bandur's, Tolman's, all these theories. There are a lot of criticism in the. So one criticism is that they are not comprehensive. There is one dimensional. So these criticisms are required for the exam point of view or just for knowledge sake? There are so many
for both,
criticisms.
Sir,
Okay.
For each and every theory, there will be criticisms, whatever the theory is. Because not any one theory is completely explains the behavior or the concept, because the human behavior itself very dynamic. Yes. So when we are discussing about something which is not static, which is not actually clear, yes. So based on that, for that we are developing a theory. Means, so definitely, whatever the theory you are discussing, whatever the theory we are talking about, is only talks about one particular point. It won't cover all the other. So definitely have its own criticisms. Yes. So based on the criticism of one theory only, next theory will be introduced. Okay. So in the examination also, you should write about theory and its practical applications as well as criticisms. Okay. For example, if you are taking Skinner's theory only talks about reinforcement. If you provide a reinforcement to an individual, definitely the person will perform better. Or you can modify a person's behavior through reinforcement. But criticism, we can give say that only reinforcement not always works. Though you are giving too much of reinforcement, appreciation or something, if the person has least bothered or has no skill at all, how can you expect from that person to change his behavior? We can't.
You're not audible, madam.
Is it clear now?
Can't hear you.
I'm looking for another place. Is it clear now? No?
Yes, yes, ma'am. It's clear.
Actually, this is our last class, no? There's no class tomorrow.
Officially, yes, ma'am.
Officially, yes. Okay. So all of you, please discuss and let me know. I already shared my number with Rajnikant sir. So all of you, please discuss and let me know the dates and timings. From my side, my concern is please give me the dates after 5th. Yes. So I'll
Okay,
take
ma'am.
4 to 5 classes for you people to complete the remaining syllabus.
Ma'am, do you have any idea when will the practical exams or the main exams will be conducted? Approximately
Uh,
which month?
no, because your previous batches practicals are still going on. So
Okay.
definitely you won't be having practicals this time, I believe. In this year, in your second year only, after writing your final exams only, you will be having practicals.
Together first and second years.
Yes, with at least
Okay.
3 months gap or something.
Okay, okay. So for mostly we may have only theory exams in a month or so like that.
December or November or December.
Oh, oh, that's gonna take not in July, August.
No, I don't think so. Not in June, July.
Not in June, July. Okay,
Usually
okay.
in
Hmm.
after August only.
Ah, okay, okay. Because our batch was like June admission batch, right, ma'am? So we were thinking June, July we might
Okay,
have
okay.
first year exams, not Jan admission.
Okay, okay. I'll find out once. I'll
Oh,
find
okay,
out
ma'am.
from the people and let you know. Anyhow, we have to
Yeah.
continue our classes, no?
Ah, yes,
So
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I'll give that information. I'll try to provide that.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
Definitely not in the June and July, as per my
Okay, okay.
knowledge.
Ah, yes.
So you
Thank you, ma'am.
have two more months you have to
Ah,
refer.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So whatever I discussed till now is not clear for you people. Like criticisms are very much common for each and every theory. And in the examination point of view also, you should write about these criticisms
Yes, madam.
related to
Books
the
not much are
theories.
given. Am
Hmm.
I audible, madam? Books
Yes,
not
yes, you
given
are
much.
audible.
So what is
Sir, no, don't.
so there are a lot of criticism in the behavioral techniques.
Uh,
Like last
you
time you
follow
taught
some
a big
standardized.
lesson
You follow some standardized textbooks, sir.
because it's a manual given by Dr. Bravo. No, it's not actually the syllabus
Yes,
as NCERT all
obvious,
that thing.
sir.
So
This
yeah,
is
it is only
just for
manuals. That's all.
1 minute, sir. This is only for your basic knowledge towards that topic.
Yes.
Yes, basic
And
understanding
basically it's
towards the lecture.
yes. And this is
So
a
you
MSc course.
want,
Because it's the only
yes.
following very age old, 13 years old syllabus of DSM 4. Okay, now DSM 5 has come long back.
Yes,
I think
yes,
we are
yes,
now
yes,
2022.
yes.
So a pretty old syllabus are being followed here in Dr. Bravo. Nothing against Dr. Bravo. Like the books are good, no doubt. Books are good and they give a comprehensive
Need some
study material.
modification and updation in the
Yeah,
syllabus.
surely. For example, this behavioral techniques, it is manipulative, it is only linear, it is comprehensive, not comprehensive. So many criticisms there on behavioral techniques. Like
Yes.
other day you taught the examples of rats, that's the example of that ape, chimpanzee. It's not much there in the books. So you must be following some other textbook in somewhere being followed. Like I spoke to one of my friends, that lady is writing syllabus for NCERT. What she says that you are following very old.
Yeah.
So we are basically told to follow, we are taught old syllabus. Whereas theories in psychology are much advanced.
That's the
last 10
reason we
years.
suggest you people. That's the reason. Listen, sir, that's the reason. In each and every class, I suggest you people to refer some standardized books along with this. I never said you people can just follow only this syllabus or this manual.
Yes, and standard books.
So
yeah, that's why standard books
is
you can refer somewhere.
This is only about the basic foundation. It's just about to know or gather some information, what exactly learning, what exactly personality is. It gives only that basics, stepping stone. But the recent developments and the introduction of new theories, new concepts, everything you should learn by your own.
Ma'am, can books by can book by Cicerelli or Barron can be referred, ma'am? Reference books.
Yes. Cicerelli is really good.
Okay.
Yes.
Barron?
You can refer that.
Barron
also equally good.
Barron
is good for social psychology.
Okay.
Social psychology by Barron is there.
Principles?
So for principles, Atkinson, Schifrin is there. Cicerelli is there. Morgan is there.
Morgan. Atkinson and Heiger.
Atkinson
right?
and Schifrin also there.
Okay.
You can follow any one or two textbooks. The latest versions you can.
Okay.
Yes, all these are freely available in PDF drive.
PDF, okay. Fine.
So,
because the textbooks are very costly.
Whatever.
No, it's not.
No, PDFs are available, sir. I'm not asking you to buy.
PDFs, yeah.
All these standardized textbooks, PDFs are available. So, it's a free download.
Last question. Yes, last time in the end of the class, I had put a question like emotional theory. Now, a couple of gray areas are there to time, otherwise end of the class. That was, we had taught only 5 theories of emotion. That is James Lange's theory. Then
I asked in the beginning only, but most of you said we're done with the theories.
Only 5 theories done with. What I'm not theories done with, but the gray areas are that we were not taught all the theories as per the latest psychology in the thing. Like for example, one theory is called Solomon's theory. It was not taught. We were taught James Lange, Cannon Boyd, cognitive labeling theory, and cognitive appraisal theory, and Donald Lindsay's activation theory. Only 5 theories are taught. So another theory called Solomon theory is there, which is opponent expression theory.
Yes,
it is not taught. So it is not in the book. The book is following DSM-4. So this is also not bad. Like you go to a roller coaster ride. Beginning you are having the emotion of fear. After going down the roller coaster, feeling happiness. So opponent process theory is also there. So certain things have not been taught on emotions. That is one issue, madam. Secondly, there are certain emotions have not been covered in this Dr. Manuel Brau. Because in the now Russia and Ukraine war is going, you must have knowing about all these things. The emotions of the people who are in the fog of war are not having much of.
Sir, one more thing here. Please listen. One more thing is, you are upgraded. You know about this syllabus. That's the reason you are talking about all. But there are so many students, so many people who are not related to psychology. For them, this is more than enough. This information is more than enough for them. They just can't, they're just not able to, in a position to complete this syllabus also or understand this. So this is prepared in such a way to help these two. See, if you have this basic knowledge, based on that, you can get the latest trends or recent trends in the psychology. Yes, if you are aware of this, you can refer that also. But there are people who just, this much information is more for them. Yes, so almost 60 to 70% in distance education comes from various other backgrounds. So the terminology and language concepts are very much new for them. Okay, so for them it's good to have a history of these concepts. Then based on it's purely depends on your interest. If you really wants to know the latest updations in the concepts,
exam and test. Only interest and knowledge.
Exam. This is what the syllabus you have. So exam will be based on this syllabus only. Yes. Exam purely based on this syllabus. Whatever the syllabus is provided in the examination branch, they'll prepare the questions based on this. So they don't, it's not there in a syllabus. So how come you expect from in the examination they will ask about recent theories or trends in psychology? Definitely not.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So our next concept is about memory. So is there anyone who can explain or define memory? Am I clear? Am I audible?
It is an ability of a person to remember.
Any other definition?
Memory can be defined as it is an active system where it receives information through all your 5 senses, then organizes them, then alters it and stores it. Then also it can be retrieved the information from storage. Now the collecting information from senses through our brain, it processed and put in different places like short term, long term, those things. And it is retrieved after some time when it is required. This is memory, madam.
Yes. So here what's happening? First, if we have to define, again, whatever we are talking about, whether it's a learning or thinking or intelligence or memory, all these are the processes. Okay. So these are the process which continuously takes place in our brain. So whatever the information, our sense organs, whatever the information they are collecting from internal and external environment, we already discussed very clearly what exactly this internal or external environment. Please mute yourselves. Who's this? Yes. So this information will be collected from the sense organs. And yeah, so here what happens, we are not actually focusing or attentive towards each and every stimulus. We are selectively we have certain, every person will have certain preferences. Yes, we do select, we do understand what is important for us. So for me, for example, if I have to give any example for you people, around me, there is so much of noise. Yes, people are there, everyone is doing their work. In between of all these people, I'm sitting and I'm taking class. So here I'm observing so many people. All this noise is collectively taken by my sense organs, but I'm focused on this class. Yes. So here what is happening, selective attention is taking place, and this, because of this process, this information will be organized. Yes, will be putting in a appropriate place. So what is important, how I can understand, how I can analyze this. Okay, so the information will be modified and sent to our brain's different localizations. Okay, so our brain will be having different locations, which for example, amygdala is storage for emotions, and frontal lobe is responsible for analyzing and reasoning the things. Okay, occipital lobe is responsible for analyzing the information which is taken care by our visual sensations. Okay, so in our brain, each part is specialized to receive certain type of stimulus. So when our neurons sends this information to our brain interprets, organizes this information and assign to this meaning, which we call perception. So this perceptual information will be stored in our mind. Yes. So whatever the meaning we are assigning, so that information definitely stores in our mind. Here, what is happening in this crowd, in this disturbance, I'm taking the class. So this time, my brain actually collecting some information and saying that, okay, this is very disturbance. Yes, this is very disturbing environment. So this information stores in my memory. And next time, whenever I'm preparing for the class, I think about okay, if I go on Saturdays to college, this will be the situation. So what is the alternative? So I'm using this information in the present situation to alter or modify or understand the situation. Yes. So this is the process we apply for each and every stimulus or each and every concept. It may be related to a people, individuals, or situations, or any object, or whatever it is. We stores the information, and whenever it requires, we get it back and understand the things. So if we have to see the process, yes, there is a process for memory. So that we call about stages. So these stages are encoding, storage, and retrieval. So most of the times in the examination, they will ask this question, explain about the stages of memory. So these three concepts, try to explain with an example. It will be very good if you are using any examples over here. Okay. So encoding. Encoding is actually the collection of the information. All our sense organs continuously, they collect the information. Means they are encoding. They are putting some information within us. They are receiving and they are sending it to the brain. So encoding process takes place. It's a very initial process of collecting information from various sources. Second one, once the information is collected, that is organized. We are not storing each and every information or each and every activity. Yes. If I ask you all of a sudden, what you had in your breakfast last week, Saturday, how many of you are able to tell this? Most of you may not.
If I specifically, we need to think a lot.
Exactly. Even after we
recall.
think, it's very difficult.
Difficult to recall.
Yes.
Yeah.
Difficult to recall. So
if we have associated that with some other event that day, it might.
Exactly. If that Saturday was special, or if that Saturday had something happened. Yes. So then we can remember. Otherwise, if that last Saturday was a routine day, as a normal day, then it's very difficult to recollect what we had in the breakfast. Yes. So we are not, actually our brain is not storing each and everything. Even though it stores, it pushes to unconscious level. Yes, subconscious and unconscious level. So where we just we not able to recollect that information. So here what happens? First stage, in the initial stage of encoding, the information is received from the sense organs, and that is organized and altered, and that sends to our brains various locations where actually information gets processed and stores in a layers. Yes. So these are known as memory layers. So traces, memory traces. Different, in a different layers, it will get stored one after the other, one after the other. Okay. So it's got piled up. All the information will get piled up over there. So storage will take place. After storage, what we do? We retrieve the information whenever it is required. I'll give one example, one simple example for this. I hope everyone knows about the physical libraries. Yes. So first, what we are doing for the setup of library, first we collect the various books. Yes. From different disciplines and from different sources, we collect a huge number of books. Then we segregate into different areas, like all psychology books at one place and commerce books at one place, management books at one place. Okay. We segregate that information. Then what happens? Whenever we require a particular book, we go to that area and we get back that book. This is the process of memory. Is it clear? Then this is the process for each and everything. This process will take place. Here, though this is the process for each and every activity, we don't remember each and everything. Today, you might have heard this class for 1.5 hours. If I ask after two to 3 days, what exactly we discussed, by that time, you might have forgotten 75% of the information, whatever we discussed right now. Yes, only 25 to 30% of major information will you able to recollect. Remaining 70% might have gone. So there are different types of memory in the storage process. How we store, what makes us to store the information for a longer time, or what makes us forget. All these things actually we can understand by the concept of types of memory. So there are 3 types of memories. It's according to the model which was proposed by Atkinson and Shiffrin in 1968. So according to this model, there are 3 basic memory systems. Yes, one is sensory memory, short-term memory, and long-term memory. Sensory memory actually talks about the immediate information, whatever we are receiving now. Yes, so immediately after our sense organs receives that information, that is sensory memory. We just got the information. You heard something or you experienced something is yes. So that is sensory memory. You are just got the information for a very, very, very brief time. Yes. The best example for this is first time you heard a person's mobile number, all 10 digits. Okay. So how many digits out of 10 you will remember? I just read out this number, and if I ask you, immediately if I ask you.
First few digits now, first few digits.
Yes, 1 or 2. Or if it is a fancy number, yes, you can. But if it is not at all a fancy number, it's a very normal number. And individually, for example, like 9, 7, 4, 3, if I say it's like this, then you may remember 2 or 3 digits. So that temporary, very, very brief temporary memory is known as sensory memory. Yes. So this sensory memory just grabs our attention. That's it. It's just you paid attention over there and it's gone. Yes, most of the times it's not even your attention consciously. You're not even aware of it. You just experienced and it's over. Then if you at this stage, at the sensory memory level, you actually focused on what it is. Yes, if something is crawling on your skin, you just throw it and you are busy with your work. Then it's gone. That memory has gone there itself. But if you paid attention, what it is, what is crawling on my skin? Yes, is this an ant or any other insect or what? If you are started paying attention on it, then that information from sensory memory to it converts into or transfers into short-term memory. Okay, so this short-term memory also known as working memory. Then here in this working memory, mostly we can talk about where we actually here in sensory memory, we are not consciously aware of it. But when we talk about short-term memory, you are consciously paying attention about what exactly it is. Okay, so this working memory, we can think about, we can say that the person is selectively, yes.
A small doubt, ma'am, in the sensory memory itself, through certain methods, like if we recall and recognition method, like if we continuously revise something in the sensory memory itself, can it be transformed to the short-term memory, or like it will be remembered, no ma'am, for retrieval?
Obviously. See, that's the reason I'm saying attention. when you are paying attention towards that stimulus, whatever it is, when you are paying attention, when we are paying attention means consciously you are aware of it. Later, you can use any method of recalling or by hearting or to get exposed to that stimulus again and again consciously. All these are the various things which makes your memory to be last for few days to few months. Yes?
Okay, ma'am.
So here in sensory memory is only about you just experienced. Yes, you heard something, you have seen something, or you experienced something, but not fully aware of it. Okay. Then if you pay attention, yeah, what it is, what's that mobile number, or I have seen something that was a bright color, or that was written on in a bold letters, or something is there on my skin or something, whatever it is, if you are paying attention towards it, you are selectively paying attention what it is, your focus is on one particular stimulus or one particular object, then that information consciously enters in your mind. So we can say this memory will stay for a longer time. Longer means, again, it depends on how much conscious you are. Yes, how much practice you have given for that stimulus, or how much exposure you have, or how much impact that stimulus has on your experience. Yes, it depends on these factors. Again, we can say that even in the short-term memory, how much time it will stores in that. So the duration of short-term memory is less than 20 seconds only. Though you are consciously aware, it's only for 20 seconds. If you are go on exposed to that, go on memorize it or learn it, yes, or use different methods of what we can say experiences or memory, then this get from short-term memory to it will convert into long-term memory. So sensory memory is only less than 1 second. Okay, you heard something, you saw something, or you experienced something, all this through your sensory organs, but you are not fully aware. You just experience, that is sensory memory or immediate memory. Then this information, if you pay attention, this information moves to your short-term memory, where the limited capacity of that short-term memory is very limited, but still, though it is having only 20 seconds, it remains only for 20 seconds. It is, you are aware of it. Yes, you may not completely recollect that information, but you somehow you are aware of it. Then,
excuse me.
Yes. Is there any question?
Yeah. Sorry? Yes, some query between sensory motors and short-term memory. Regarding sensory motors. It is regarding sensory motors. Now what happened? We've got 5 senses. We've got 5 senses.
Yes.
Out of that, the 2 major senses are your sight and your
sensory. Yes, vision and auditory.
Yes, Baki 3 are not much because of other factors.
Yes. These 2 are major. Even though in this, vision is more capable.
So, yes. Sensory motors. As is giving this manual, it says iconic memory and echoic memory.
Yes,
yes. Is covered in sensory motors. Whereas sense of touch, the smell is not covered. That means if you smell a flower, there is not a sensory motor this thing. If somebody touches your hand while going in bus, there is not a sensory motor memory. I mean,
it is.
It is right, but it is only iconic and echoic memory. Doesn't cover other things.
Yes, sir. Because these 2 are the major ones.
Yeah, lower brain
these
memory
2 have.
Cover.
Yeah, it didn't cover, but they have covered only the major ones which has more influence on memory. Remaining do influence, but not much.
Generally, they cover 2 to 4 seconds in sensory motors. But all these touches and all the smell of flower, all those things may not be that much, 1 to 2 seconds like that.
So consciously, if you are taking, you are experience the smell or odor of a flower, then that is short-term memory.
Okay.
Yes,
if
consciously, if you are aware of it.
No, I'm not talking about consciously aware of it. Once you are conscious memory, it goes to a different level. That is short-term memory. It goes to
yes.
So that is different issue. I'm touching only unconscious. Somebody touches, I mean, the smell of a flower passing by, morning
you are
walk.
not totally aware of it. You have experience, but not totally aware of it.
Okay. That is not covered in the book.
The threshold level is not high to trigger your senses or trigger your or stores in your memory.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. If you able to recognize it, if you able to like understand, oh, this is the smell of food or flower or perfume or something, then that's a short-term memory where you able to understand, differentiate, analyze what exactly it is. Yes, that will be very brief again. Then if here you applies at the short-term memory level, at this level, if you are paying more attention towards it, if you are using some memory techniques or something, then information transfers into long-term memory. So this is a permanent storage of information and the capacity is unlimited and lifelong a person can remember this information. Then one more thing over here. When we are talking about long-term memory, do only through rehearsals, do only through practice and exposure, only we able to remember the information, memorize the information, or is there any other ways? For example, I'll give one example for this. If I ask you, do you remember any of your childhood friend? Their name, do you able to recollect the names of your childhood friend? Maybe in pre-primary schools or high school. Yes, is there anyone who can give a name of your childhood friend?
Not all, ma'am, but
not all. It's okay.
We are in touch with. Yeah, we remember because we have been constantly in touch with or
constantly in touch with. Though you are not constantly in touch, at least can't you recollect the name of one person you are not in contact with right now?
We can.
Yes, yes or no?
Yeah.
It's a permanent storage. Did you rehearse this information? Did you practice this person's name again and again? Do you ever go on? Yes?
No, ma'am.
No. It happened long back, maybe in 15 years back or 20 years back. You studied with that person and left the college and you met so many people, so many different situations has taken place in your life, but still you remember that person's name. Okay. So here, long-term memory, whatever the information we stores at long-term memory, not always based on some practice, not always based on some exposure. Yes, it is based on some skills what we have. Yes, based on the knowledge, childhood experiences. Yes, based on lifetime events. So here what happens, we can categorize this long-term memory. There are various types in long-term memory. Overall, if you have to take the types of memory, there are sensory, short-term and long-term. But out again in the long-term memory, here this sensory and short-term memory talks about your conscious awareness. Sensory, there is no much conscious awareness. Short-term, selectively you are paying attention towards that stimulus for a brief time. Then long-term is you are fully aware of it. Yes, you are very much remember about. Do anyone forgot the alphabets? Do anyone forgot the numbers? We learned ages back. Yes. 20, 30 years back, but still we very clearly remember these alphabets, numbers, and other concepts. So what happens? Our memory is not totally depends on the practice, but depends on how we are collecting the information, like how we are gathering the knowledge, our maturity levels, our experiences, our skills. Based on this also, memory gets stores in our brain. Okay. So here, if we have to look at this long-term memory, types of long-term memory. Yes. So I'm not talking any stages or something, types, different types of long-term memory, in how many ways we can store information for a longer time. Yes. So in that, first one is procedural memory. Yes. Procedural and declarative memory according to your manual. So here, these two types memories, it's about your general facts. Yes, the principles or norms. There are certain facts, like for example, fact is who is our present CM or PM, or in which country we are living, or which religion we are following, in which school or college you studied. All these are the facts, not based on any logic or not based on any skill. It is there, very, very clear information is there. Okay. So when you are clear about that fact, that information will stores in your long-term memory. Yes. So who are your parents? Very much clear. What are their names? Very much clear. Yes. So this is about your procedural and declarative memory, which is related to facts and which is related to certain skills. So here in this skill-based, when we learn certain skills, for example, riding a bicycle, or driving a car, or swimming, yes, tying this shoelace. So all these are the skills. We do learn certain skills. Now, what happens? These skills definitely stores in our long-term memory. Once we practiced, once we learn it, it will stores in our long-term memory. So here what happens, this skill, whatever we are learning, can divide it into two. One is implicit and explicit. Yes, implicit is within us, explicit from external one. So here what happens, if I ask you certain things like just show me, you already acquired that skill. For example, riding a bicycle, you already acquired that skill. So that information is there in your mind, like how to ride a bicycle. If I ask you, just show me how you can ride a bicycle, or how you can drive a car, how you can swim, you already learned it. Will you able to show this or not? Is it easy for you to show or not?
Yes.
Yes. After acquiring this skill, do you have to pay equal conscious attention towards that skill? Maybe after 6 months of learning this, after 6 months of learning the driving, yes, continuously this 6 months you drive the car, and you are very much what we can say, mastered in that. Yes, you gone for long drives and other things. So after 6 months, I asked you to drive again. Yes. So by that time, it becomes very automatic process. No need to consciously pay attention. Where's the gear? Where's the, I don't know, terminology of driving that. So no need to look at the things particularly. It becomes more automatic. So your brain is not involved so much. Yes. So that information is stored at your peripheral level. Sorry, implicit level. So easily you can do it. Then if I ask you, yes, if I ask you, describe how you drive a car or describe how to ride a bicycle. This is actually most difficult one, to describe what you do one after the other. Doing is easy, but explaining verbally is difficult. Yes or no? You already acquired that skill, but to explain how you are driving, to explain in words is difficult or not? Is it easy again?
Difficult. Like, ma'am, suppose if we sit and try to explain, we can tell step by step. Okay, first I put the key.
You have to think and say. Not
yes,
that is like driving and showing.
Yes, that's true.
You have to think like, I'll do this first, next I'll do this. If I ask
you
to
process properly what we do.
Exactly. So this skill of learning, physical skill becomes automatic, or not only physical skill, the skill which we acquired, some information becomes very automatic and some of the information is very difficult to retrieve that. It will be there in your it is there in your memory traces, but sometimes it's very difficult to explain that. Means the same information related to skill stores at different places. One is at central level, one is at peripheral level. Yes, central level is known as implicit memory, where you can do it easily and show it. But some information related to that skill stores at peripheral level, that is explicit memory, which it is there in your memory but difficult to explain about. Yes, so one is related to facts and skills. One type of long-term memory is related to skills and facts. We know certain facts, no need to practice it, no need to memorize it, but it will store in our memory. And certain skills, whatever we are learning, definitely without any practice, we can store in our memory. Then other one is related to our experiences, childhood experiences. Yes, if like if I ask you what you would have do, if I ask you like tell me about your 6th grade marks, how many of you able to tell? 7th, at least board exam, few people may remember. But what about 6th grade marks or 5th grade marks? Yes, 8th standard marks. Is it easy to tell? Is it easy to explain about?
No.
No, ma'am.
Ma'am, last year, like 2 years back, I passed my PG, ma'am. I don't even remember my PG marks, ma'am.
So but if I ask you, instead of marks, if I ask you, tell me about how you enjoyed with your friends. Tell me the moments where you actually enjoyed in your school, or like 8th grade level or in PG level. You do remember?
Yes, ma'am.
You might have gone to a movie or restaurant, or you might have gone outside for playing, or you bunked the classes. Something you might have did and you do remember that. Yes. So certain information which is related to our childhood experiences or the strong experiences, or maybe positive, negative, or whatever it is. So we do store information based on our experiences also. So one is skill based, one is fact based, and the other one is experience based. Yes. So these are the 3 ways through which, these are the 3 sources through which we can store information in long-term memory. This is personal aspect. Another one is if it is related to academics. Yes. Though it is related to facts, though you have certain experiences, we need to refer, we need to practice, we need to understand, we need to organize. Yes, academic related information. So you can't say that I have a good experience with my psychology teacher, so I do remember the information whatever she delivers. Do you can say that?
No, ma'am, not at all.
You can't. Yes, it's not depends on your experience. It's not depends on your skill. It depends on your practice. So how much ever you practice, you can remember that information. So there are various types or sources through which you can store the information for a longer time. Okay, so this is about your types of long-term memory. Then, yes, experiences, skill, and all these things related to without practice. If we have to talk about practice, yes, ma'am. Somebody is asking something.
I have a question to ask. Ma'am, we consciously try to remember the thing sometimes, but we may forget. We may not be able to recall it when we need it. Like how we prepare for the exam, and we may not be able to recall it at the time of examination. After writing examination, after coming home, again we'll get those things which we have learned.
Yes.
Why it happens actually?
There are so many reasons. There are so many reasons. First thing, what I said, your information, whatever the information we are collecting, that will stores in a traces. Yes, one file, above that another file, above that another file. Yes, so like that in the traces you are storing the information. We'll take the example of this class only. 1.5 hours you are listening about memory. You might have stored some information. Yes, so in this 1.5 hours you feel like, okay, I can understand this chapter is easy, I'm able to understand. Immediately after this class, what happens? Another class comes. What is that? Social psychology. Those concepts are very much different compared to principles of psychology concepts. So immediately after this layer, another layer is formed, that is social psychology with different concepts. So what it is called? Interference. Yes. So this information, whatever you are storing in your brain, this information get interfered with the next coming information.
So that all comes in forgetting unit, I think.
Exactly. So one by one, other information coming and storing. Yes, getting stored. So what happens? This present information, whatever you are learning. So after this class, immediately you joins to social psychology class. So you listen for 1.5 hours. That is more fresh compared to this class. Oh my God, there is a full. Yes, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
No, clear means my, am I audible clearly?
Yeah, ma'am, you're audible.
Yes. Okay.
Ma'am, what is cognitive process actually?
Sorry?
Cognitive process.
Where it is?
I have read somewhere in the books.
Cognitive process is your thought process, your thoughts, feelings, your reasoning ability, memory, thinking. All this comes under cognitive process. All higher order mental process.
Okay.
Yes, your perception, everything comes under cognitive process. So here again, whenever you are so much of disturbance over here. So whenever you are learning something new, yes, what are your feelings? How you are analyzing that information? Yes, how you are interpreting. If the information is very, very clear for you, one concept you are, for example, you are studying one's concept. That concept is very clear. You understood. You yourself can give examples to that. Then that will store for a longer time in your memory. You can retrieve that information. If you have just by-hearted that information, okay, side headings, let me learn, and tomorrow I have an exam. So just let me remember these side headings. Once the exam is got over, next day you don't remember that. Yes, whatever the stored information you omit on the paper, and you'll forget that information. So how clear you are towards the concepts, how much you can put your understanding or your reasoning, your way of thinking towards the concept. Yes, these all the factors definitely contribute your capacity of memory. Okay, actually I'm getting distracted with so much of noise over here. Yes. So yeah, so here biological factors in memory, all this like how our physical aspect. Oh my god.
Models of memory.
Yes, so these biological factors talks about your physical aspect and how the information is processing in the memory. So whenever we talk about memory, yes, how from sense organs to how the information is passes to brain. In between, neural activity takes place. We all discuss about all this neural activity. Then hippocampus memory. These hippocampus is responsible for the memory. It's a storage for the memory. Then how the neural information is passed and how the changes are taking place in the neural information. All these are responsible for memory, ability of the memory. I may not go in detail of all this. Please read once. If you have any doubts, then I'll clarify.
Ma'am,
if you don't understand
there is a
what
topic named models of memory.
Sorry, models of memory. Oh, the same thing, whatever we discussed in process and types. Yes, more or less, this model is also the same. Information processing model talks about how you are receiving the information. Levels of processing model talks about different levels, like short-term memory, long-term memory, and sensory memory. Okay, then parallel distributed processing memory. Actually, this PDP model talks about yes. So here what happens, parallelly the information gets received as well as stores. Okay, so each time what happens, however you are adding the memory, okay, 5 minutes, ma'am, I'll be completing. Okay, yes. So however you are information is stored at the various level traces of your memory. Each time, see in a file, you are go on adding the papers. What happens? It expands. Yes. So you are adding the information to it, that becomes a big pile, and you are storing, you are receiving the information, you are storing, so that traces will get expand and that will lead to a permanent memory. Yes, I'm just giving an overview of it. Please refer once, and next informal classes whenever we are organizing. So if you have any what we can say doubts in this, need any extra clarifications, please feel free to ask. Okay. So next topic is about improving of memory, how we can improve the memory. I may not continue over here because this environment is very, very disturbing over here. So I'm stopping my class over here only. Please let me know the dates and time for the class after 5th. I'm comfortable after 5th because our inspection gets over by 5th of June. So I'll be free after 5th. So continuously, not the weekends, evenings, 6 to 7 or something, continuously 4 to 5 days we can have a class and we complete the syllabus. If everyone agrees with, then within 1 week we can finish it off.
Yeah, only in the evenings we can have, ma'am, because we'll be starting our schools and other things.
Okay.
The evening it's comfortable.
Rajnikant Garu, please coordinate with your classmates and let me know the dates as well as the time. If evenings, then what are the timings? Mornings is not possible for me also. So after 6, I'm free. So 6 to 7, if it is okay for everyone, we can have the class.
Yes, ma'am, yes? That time is comfortable.
Okay. So after 5th only, because nowadays I'm reaching home after 7. So it's highly impossible for me to take the class. Okay, thank you.
Ma'am,
thanks for your patience.
In today's topic, I have a small doubt, ma'am. Can I ask now?
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, in this actually, if we take an example of some crime scene, ma'am. So when the police asks a witness to tell about
example of
a crime scene where a police questions
the witness. Okay.
So when a police questions the witness regarding some sort of information where he had seen at the crime scene.
Yes.
So like suppose vehicle number which he had seen. Or a person who is roaming, like these sort of information. What type of memory does we try to recollect at that time, ma'am? Like what type of memory?
Here 2 types of memories can take place. Yes. One is if the person has clearly seen that vehicle number. Yes. And he definitely remembered that. Yes. One thing, the person can very much remember that he has seen that person or vehicle number or something. He is very clear about it. Is seen very clearly. That is one situation. Another one is he saw something. He thinks that he able to recollect that information. Yes, not even tried once whether the person able to remember or not. But all of a sudden in a crime scene, people will go and forensic people or police people, they'll go and they ask the person, witness, like, will you able to tell me the vehicle number? Is this so? If they have provided some clues that, if that person looks like this or vehicle number is related to this or something. So the person tend to follow their clues and says, yes, this is he is the person or this is the vehicle number. These are the 2 situations may takes place in a crime scene. Most of the times it happens consciously or unconsciously with the victim. Yes, if the person is fully aware of that scene or the person whom he has seen, then it is known as flashbulb memory. Yes, flashbulb is very, very clear, very vivid. Very clear memory. Some certain childhood memories which we say it's still, even after 20 years, I'm feeling that it happened just in front of me. Sometimes we do talk like this. Yes. So that is flashbulb memory, which is very, very
it is a type of long-term memory or a sensory
exactly.
or
short-term? It's a long-term memory. Definitely it's a long-term memory. Then another situation, the person consciously accepts that if I'm giving options to that victim, that please recognize who's that person. Yes. Out of all these 10, who's that person whom you have seen? So when we are providing clues to an individual, when he is not very sure about. Yes. So what happens? The person consciously tend to follow the clues and thinks that out of these 10, one person he just recognizes. It's not by it's not consciously the person wants to what it called? He doesn't want to harm that person or consciously he's doing. But what happens sometimes when information is not clear and so much of clues are providing to us, and we tend to follow those clues and gives a false information. And we start believing that that false information only is the correct information. Yes. So that is known as false memory. False memory actually talks about creating a memory which is never there in our memory traces. Okay. You might have seen this. How many of you know Telugu? This recently Venkatesh movie. What was that? I forgot the movie's name. He actually make people believe that they went to or a particular place and
Drishyam.
something.
Drishyam.
Drishyam, exactly. Drishyam is that movie is completely based on the concept of false memory. He himself created a memory in people's memory traces, which is never happened, which is never there in their memory.
Yes, by showing various clues.
Exactly. So we tend to believe, by seeing those clues, we tend to believe that that is there in our memory. Yeah, this is the person whom I have seen, but I never saw that person. Based on those clues, I am believing that I saw that person. I saw that particular vehicle number or something. Sorry?
This is also a long-term one or a short-term one?
No. It doesn't comes under types of memory. It depends on the situational memory. That situation made us to behave or memorize a certain thing.
Okay.
Ma'am, then the validity
so in
of
the
an
crime
eyewitness
scene,
reduces in a crime scene, no, ma'am.
Obviously, we completely, we can't say that eyewitness is definitely saying providing a correct information or valid information. No, it happens. Yes.
So always in the court is not acceptable, right? Then eyewitnesses.
Yeah, obviously. So that's the reason they are not completely dependable on eyewitness information. No, they look for other clues also. They'll match with other clues with eyewitness clues. If it is matching, they will accept. Otherwise, no. Okay, that's the reason they ask like whether it's a daytime or night time. Then if it is a dark place, how the person able to recognize, how he can say that only that person or something. Yes. Okay. Even it is a daytime, very clear environment, how we can say that we have seen only that person? Maybe so many interferences may take place. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
We'll meet in the next classes. We'll discuss about all the remaining topics.
Ma'am, so tomorrow we don't have a class?
Formally, we don't have. This is our last class.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
We're done with all the 8 classes.
Thank you.
Okay,
So
ma'am.
informal classes from
all subjects, ma'am.
Yeah, all subjects.
Okay, today is the last day.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Can you be able to please provide us the information like when are we going to have our exams or practicals?
I'll let you know. I'll confirm with the people and let you know.
Yeah, ma'am. Tentatively also, if you can help us out.
Okay, definitely.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Hello. Hello. Ma'am.